I've been using the Bigme Inknote for the last couple of weeks. So I'm just going to show you one or two of the same things again, but side by side with the Bigme Inknote, and give you some of my thoughts about the Bigme Inknote and whether or not it can be a contender. I'm in the process of writing the actual full review now, so I'm going to go ahead and do those sort of full comparison scores with the Inknote. Somebody asked, this is the Inknote Lite that I have, so it has 2 GB less of RAM and half the storage. Now, somebody asked, will that make a difference to the screen performance? And no, that shouldn't make any difference at all to the screen performance, because all that should really do is make it a little bit slower at switching between apps. So on Android, you have this thing called the Recents panel, which they have the 3 dots there. And basically, you see down here, look, at the minute, I've only got 1 GB available of 4 GB. Okay, so it has a little button to allow you to sort of sweep. So that's just for the sake of fairness. That's closed down all of the apps now. And so now only Chrome is open. And similarly on here, I can just close down all of the apps because I had 1 GB left. The speed of it is going to be essentially just due to the processor and the GPU, and the ink performance is only going to be because of that as well. So I wonder firstly whether this is going, oh no, it says you can request for the desktop site. I don't want the desktop site, I want the mobile site, but they both seem to have gone into different views. So I don't know if there's a way to zoom this a little bit. It doesn't change the view of it at all, but you can see that this is looking far more contrasty, the Tab Ultra, than the Bigme Inknote. And let's just check what ink mode they're both in. And this has just had its recent update, by the way. So this should be the very best. And all they've done really, I can see, is they've done normal fast and auto clean. So it's now doing a similar thing. They've obviously noticed, oh, I see what the Boox Tab Ultra was doing. And you can see it's now doing something like that and cleaning up those white spaces. It just isn't quite doing the same job. It isn't quite doing as well as the Tab Ultra is. So you can just see some ghosting around here, whereas the Tab Ultra gets pretty much totally white. But as I say, let's put them in sort of similar mode. So HD 265 should be the very best looking here on the Bigme. You can see it does that. And Regal should be the very best looking here. And you can see now the way it's refreshing, but it doesn't have to do, on the Tab Ultra C, it did do a full page refresh there, but it doesn't have to do quite the level of sort of, as you move it, it doesn't have to do that weird, like, sort of almost spaghettification of the image. And so it does do it weirdly, but it does it afterwards. Is this going to do a full refresh now it's settled? No. This also isn't pulling up a lot of the images for some reason. That could be because of the RAM. But both of those for just general browsing, pretty much unusable. HD is the next one. Let's go with HD. So again, that will do full refreshes whenever possible, whenever you sort of leave it for a little while. Seems to have gone into almost black and white there for a second. That's not doing its best. Never seen it do so badly, frankly. But you see it does a full screen refresh to actually clear everything up, and you'll have a similar story over here. Okay, actually now I'll give it to that HD is looking quite good. But I still think that the sort of contrast is far higher over here than it is over here. I can increase that contrast, dark enhancement they call it. But I just generally think that just sort of, you can see it's not changed the contrast so much, it's just made everything darker. Do I just need not quite as much as that? What happens if I just press recommend? Back to where it was 8. So a little bit of that is probably all you really need. You do have the same things there. This is on 30 apparently, so that might be why. But you can see why I wouldn't really recommend that as being a option that I use much. I live in balanced or higher. I don't ever see the need to go into HD mode here on this tablet as well. Most people, when they use HD mode on e-ink, they just find it a bit distracting. Regal there is one of the best refresh rates here as well. But let's go back into the normal fast. So that's the equivalent. The normal fast is night and day. The normal fast and the balanced are absolutely night and day. Come out of that again. Yeah, that's now doing what I would expect it to be. Balanced. It just looks so much better. Am I even still on the normal fast? No, it's gone back to HD for some reason. Didn't tell it to do that. But now you can really see just how much better that is looking. And are you seeing this? Are you getting this on the camera as well? This is just looking more washed out. A lot more kind of degradation there. It is doing that auto clean thing. Okay. But not quite as well. And one thing I think, one decision they kind of made here on the Bigme is that they really thought about what people want, okay? But I think they thought about it in the wrong way. And it used to be the packaging you got from Bigme was all about the bigger you, literally, the greater you is what it talks about. Bigme expressing yourself and giving you the tools to be the best professional that you can be. And then with this iteration, they've come out with, this is now the AI Note. And I think what I would say for Bigme is, like, I actually preferred the whole sort of marketing speak of the greater you and improve yourself and the Chinese proverbs and everything like that on the packaging. Whereas now it's like AI Note and just for you. It isn't really appealing in that same way. And you think about what Remarkable have done, and they've really kind of sold the image of you in meetings and, you know, the way it should be. And Bigme has kind of thought, well, we need a thing. We need a differentiator in terms of like what these things can do, rather than just telling you what the specifications are. And they do have impressive specifications and they do have good price points for Bigme. But they've gone down the road of, well, ChatGTP and AI is trending, so let's go ahead and stick AI everywhere and say it's an AI Note and all of these things. And yes, they've got the meeting record, which has some good AI features in there, but I just don't think that they're really getting to the nub of what it is to use an e-ink tablet at work. And they've added the AI when AI isn't really novel anymore, and everyone seems to be adding a ChatGTP extension in just about everything. AI, if it's going to be useful, has to be really purposefully integrated into things. I don't think it's quite there yet. Like, I've got incredible AI tools with using such an incredible integration of ChatGTP or other AI bots. For instance, my videos are cut; they're rough cut by the computer now, so it saves me an awful lot of time, and it gets, you know, not anywhere near 90% of the video, but it gets a lot of the sort of the first part of the video, the first part of the video editing, the first couple of hours of just sheer kind of drudge work of cutting down the silences and getting rid of the fluffed lines and everything like that. It's all done by the computer. Somebody's really thought about that AI tool, whereas this just seems to be like they're slap ChatGTP in here, because that is in trend at the minute. So I don't think it's very well implemented, and I don't think they're getting the right messaging. So I would go back to that kind of bigger you, really try and think, what are those Chinese proverbs on that box for the B1 Pro Max Plus color? And really think about what they mean and how can you show this tablet to be that thing and help people to do those things. I think that'd be really exciting. Yeah, so there's an interesting thing that the Kaleido free screen doesn't look quite the same. And the other choice that's popular is this sort of rough screen, you know, this, if I go into the Notes app and just write something, the Note, it has this matte screen protector and it's very matte. I know you could probably hear that just from there on the, it's very rough. I bet the microphone's even picking that up. You know, it is an incredibly matte screen protector, but what that means is when you put it side by side with this, the clarity of the Tab Ultra just blows it away, and it looks just to the eye so much better, even though they're the exact same e-ink panel, just by putting that matte screen protector on there. Whereas Boox have made the design choice, like, no, we're going for ultra clarity here. We're going for the best look on e-ink. What Boox have done is they've gone for design choices, and they're sort of letting that tell the story. They're saying you might think that a matte screen protector is better, but no, you just need a little bit of kind of friction. You don't need a lot. And actually the trade-off between that, it being a really nice, pleasurable writing feeling, and it isn't that great, it's okay, and the fact that you lose the clarity of the screen, actually in the long run, you'd probably prefer to have the clear screen. These are things that are designed to be e-readers and have your notes and read your own notes and work from your own notes later. I think that they need to sort of make their own choice, and they need to really think, what is it that they're selling? Okay, obviously they're selling e-ink tablets, but why is it that you should buy this over the Remarkable? Because at the minute, it's, well, all right, you walk into a meeting and, well, you know, I know it's not the reason to buy things, but just the way this looks, it kind of, it looks kind of similar to the way the Remarkable 2 looks, really similar design choices, but it isn't. It's so much better in lots of ways than the Remarkable 2. It's got so many more kind of options to it, but they aren't expressed in what it does, and they aren't expressed in their marketing and in their messaging and in the decisions that they're making. So I think they need to think long and hard about where they're positioning themselves in this market for everyone there.